For the last week or more, Shah Rukh Khan has had India's admiration for standing up and standing up unequivocally to the politics of intimidation, even when perhaps most hurtfully his patriotism was questioned. To talk about these difficult last 10 days and much, much more, we're joined by Shah Rukh himself. You're smiling.
I'm smiling because the last time I spoke with you before leaving for New York was, I want to do a fun interview with you.
I don't think we're fated to do that.
I know, I sent you a Twitter and I said, let's do a fun, comic, nice interview, which you've not done, I've not done.
Things aren't very funny around us.
They're not funny, I mean, it's just been, I was just thinking of that when you were speaking. That was the last time I Twittered you, and then I'm back and things have changed so much. So, no fun interview this time too.
Well, we'll have our time. We'll have our time for our fun interview. But how is it to be back home?
It's very nice. On one side, because I was a little worried for everyone. You know, when you're not in the house, then you hear too many things. And you know they're exaggerated, but you still worry. But I'm happy to be back, and I was very happy being there. It was nice and cold, and, you know, went to NASDAQ and did all the stuff, which was...
And were being King Gong, as I joked with you.
Yeah, I was being King Gong and doing such wonderful stuff, thinking, India has made me so proud, and, you know, I'm part of all this good stuff happening for the country. And strangely, then you're also faced with the dichotomy that this is also a part of what is happening to the country.
And people are questioning. There you are representing India at the NASDAQ. And people are questioning your Indianness, your patriotism.
And that's one thing I think no Indian should be questioned. Because you don't have to ask, you don't have to explain that why you love your motherland, or why you love India, how you are. And I'm very proud, very strangely, not strangely actually, very naturally, I'm very proud because my dad was a freedom fighter. And I don't have very many principles. I'm a movie star, but
you're being self-deprecating as always.
No, but I don't have too many principles. You do your job, you know, you're self-centered. You do your life. You want to have a good life. You want to do your entertainment. Maybe I've made compromises in my life, and I will never deny that. But I thought I've been a good citizen. I pay my taxes. I try to be kind of okay law-wise, and you know, then suddenly you are subjected to questionings of this form. And then you're like, I get very emotional about the fact when people say, because my parents gave me nothing else. And I know I'm very proud of the Tamrapatra my father has. And I just feel very special with people of my age group because my dad was a freedom fighter. He gave me this country. So I have this strange positive chip on my shoulder, you know, that I really like this. And when somebody asks and says, you know, that you're not a nice guy and you're not patriotic enough, and I find it strange. I find it very strange.
One of your tweets said that you're back and you're busy proving that you're Indian.
Yeah.
You're being sarcastic, right?
Yeah,
you know you don't really have to prove this to, I think, 99% of this country. There is that 1% fringe, but...
Yeah, and it's so strange that, you know, just because you say, okay, and everybody says that, Bakha. You believe that. Everyone around me believes that. We cannot start ascribing one man's, two men, 10 people's action to a whole set of a country or a group.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. I was just actually watching one of your programs just before I came down, I think Mr. Pankaj Pachauri, and he was saying something, and there were some other actors there, and he said, but we have an issue with the country and we should not have, you know, say good things about it. I said, we have, whatever issue we have, let's kill those guys who have troubled India. You know, hang them, and let's not even be insensitive and say, play cricket with them. Let's not even be insensitive like that. You know, even if you're being sarcastic or angered or disturbed, say, make that person the captain of your team. That's not right for the people who've lost their lives, to hear even a sarcasm or anger or a passionate outburst from anyone. And those people should be punished. But the rest of it, we meet them all over the world. Your channel only is carrying another bit of thing happening where you're talking about forming relationships and forging ties and buses going.
The governments are about to begin talking officially.
Just now, you know, so then why is it to be, you know, and sports, every time I remember, whenever this question is arisen, 2 years ago they all came and played here. There was no issue. Shoaib Akhtar took a lot of wickets. We lost badly to Mumbai Indians. But, but my whole thing is that sports and culture and those are the things everyone says, these will create the, this will, chalo, political and physical, the problem rehta hi rahega, wo ho jayega, but these things will bind us together. Now those things are being questioned, then it's a little sad and it's wrong.
You know, I remember meeting you after 26/11 and doing an interview with you, and I remember how angry and how it took you a while to actually come out and speak because you were that disturbed by what had happened. Now, it's your position on 26/11 that's being questioned. You're being accused of not being sensitive to those who died in 26/11.
Yeah, Yeah, that's, I didn't see it like that. But yeah,
I mean, no, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it.
That's what the people accusing you are saying.
And how could any of us, let me not even use strong words like us Indians, I think any of us, normal people, who may not have chances to talk about their patriotism also, how can anyone have any two different point of views on what happened on 26/11? Naturally, we can't have it. Nobody should have it. We will always obviously believe that that was completely wrong, thwarted, disturbed. And here I was trying to say that being an Indian and being a Muslim, I wanted to talk about that, let's not overreact. And I was saying exactly the same things actually. Let's not take a set of people, and they're bad people, and they're bad guys, they're not good guys, they are the worst kind of human beings, but does not mean the rest is also like this. Let's try and keep some kind of equilibrium, some kind of sanity, and sort this out. Yes, of course, when the government from the other country says, oh, they were not from here, all those denials and all those are part of politics. That happens. And now it's all coming around. It's taken a little bit of time, but it's coming around. There will be international pressures, everyone talks. But exactly what I said then is what I was saying now. And then suddenly, on the eve of your film, it starts getting even more vulnerable and disturbing. And then there will be another point of view. Oh, this is for publicity. It all
That's
gets...
being said by some people.
So it'll be as frivolous as that.
I've been accused of having a tie-up with you to promote this film because I think that the people accusing you are utterly bigoted and revolting. So some of the way it's being read is this
now,
is a MNIK tie-up or whatever.
Now everybody knows.
See, we are doing a funny thing.
Yeah.
But more seriously, look back at this week. Did you contemplate at any point, maybe this is not worth the fuss, let me go and say sorry?
As I sit here and talk, I think it's not worth the fuss. Yesterday, I thought it's not worth the fuss. Day before yesterday, I thought. From the day it has started, I think it's not worth the fuss. Because there should be no fuss about this. And when I say this, I say with a lot of humility. I am not confrontational about this. If I was, I could say that. I'm not scared to be confrontational about any issue that needs confrontation. But this does not need any confrontation. This does not, so there is no, is it worth the fuss means? Then if I'll give you an example. When certain things happened with my earlier films, a set of people said, we don't like this word. And I said, why? And the gentleman in this room said to me that, my daughter is teased when they use the word Baba. I'm sorry, I'm using it now. And I said, oh, and I felt very bad. I said, remove it. Doesn't make a difference. And everybody told me, don't bow down. I said, no, I'm not bowing down. I think somebody's child feels bad, let it be. There was another set of people, there was a set of Muslim people who felt I have said something wrong in Marjani, the song. And I said, look, I didn't mean to. I explained the song to them and I apologized to them. And I took them out. I said, I'm really sorry. It's not meant to be like that. I'm not being confrontational. In this case, there should have been no fuss. What is the fuss about? And please, I don't want to be, again, I'm saying with all humility, if I say that we should have good relationships with everybody, and if I've taken the name of Pakistan or New Zealand or Australia or China or France or Britain, what is the harm in it? I've not understood this. So that's why when people tell me that, so are you going to retract? I don't know what to retract. Okay, so here on your show, I'll say, okay, let's not be friendly with New Zealand and Pakistan and England and China and France and London and nowhere. Let's be unfriendly to all the nations of this world. It's okay. Thing over. Let my film release with happiness.
I hope Bal Thackeray is watching this interview.
Yeah, please, I'll say whatever you want me to retract. I mean, I find it so strange. If I say, okay, even if I say this, in all seriousness, if I say it, does that change the fact that we should be friends with neighboring nations? Who am I? I mean, what does it make a difference? So if I've said it, in that program only, they said, but why didn't he buy a Pakistani player? I wanted to. The gentleman was hurt. And
you mean Razak?
Yeah. I said, Razak, his wrist got at 12 o'clock. I had to rush down to town. Thankfully the sea link is there, so I reached early. And we said, who's the next one? Who's the next one? And there's a lot of permutation and combinations because you don't have the kind of money everybody else has. We decided to get the fast bowler. Done. Also, let me say that I'm not talking about Pak players as from Pakistan. I'm talking about as players. So even if I didn't choose them, it would have been on the level of players, not because, or if I should not even choose them because they're from Pakistan. See, it works both ways.
It should be based on merit.
It should be based on merit. कि भाई अच्छा नहीं खेलता लेकिन पाकिस्तान का ले लेते हैं अच्छी जज्बा अच्छा होगा हम तो लास्ट आ रहे हैं टीम में मैं जज्बे पे थोड़ा ना प्लेयर्स को लूंगा and it should be on merit.
But then are you saying that of all 12 Pakistani players available, you only found Razak worth wanting? On merit?
Wanted him. Yeah.
On merit, he was the only one.
See, they all have some thoughts now of T20, and of course, at the space we are lying in,